There's a film on top of it.
that's a good way to start out any sort of scenario. Okay, so here we are, ready to rock, ready to roll.
Let's do it.
Episode 2 of the Hell Breakfast Show.
Lead us in, Hoss.
We're gonna come in hot this week. We got a lot to talk about this week. We got some funny stories to relate. I've got some serendipitous stories to relate. The first thing I want to say is last week's episode was received better than I thought it was going to be. We had a number,
not at all.
which is not at all. No, we had a number of downloads from the site, which I was very excited about. And my dad talked to me today, and I mentioned that I was coming down here to do the second episode of the Health Breakfast Show, and my dad said to me, "Look, actually I've been meaning to talk to you about this. I tried to listen to that first one, and if you want anybody to listen to this sort of thing, you can't make it an hour long. Nobody's going to sit in front of their computer and listen to this kind of shit for an hour." And so I had to sit down and explain to my father what a podcast was. And why he should be thankful that it's not 3 hours.
Like the ones I listen to.
Yeah.
Because I don't listen to this shit.
So,
We're here. We don't need to.
So, okay, Ryan came downstairs fully cocked, fully loaded for this nonsense.
Yeah, sure.
He has got a masterful beverage in front of him. We are going to jump straight into a 5 minutes on the clock for what are you drinking and why. Fastly becoming our most popular recurring segment, he said.
The one recurrence is now.
So 5 minutes on the clock. Ryan, it looks like somebody pissed in your coat.
What
Please explain yourself.
Is this?
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Let me put this. Let me set the scene. What we have here.
No, don't lie to them. This is a fine Belgian white blue moon.
That is not even.
That's not even a little bit true.
You're sitting in a good spot right now, by the way, for
audio.
For audio,
awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like it is a gray-blue beverage with what looks like a little bit of a foamy head on top.
Let's not call it a head.
It looks like something that Commander Worf would drink.
That is a film. That is what Dagobah looks like.
So please, share with us.
Tell the class
right,
what are you drinking and why.
All right, so I texted Brendan earlier today. He said he was very excited for this. I didn't want to disappoint him. I said I was thinking blue thoughts. So we went at this with a theme of blue. So this is blue Gatorade. I think that's honest to God. The flavor is blue.
Oh, it's called like
Mountain Frost.
Mountain Frost. I was gonna say Fierce Ice, but I don't.
Maybe
I know I passed up Chill Frost because I stared at it and said I'm not drinking anything that redundant.
I
Chill
noticed
Frost,
Gatorade.
a DC villain.
I was about to say a Mega Man boss.
No,
You're
it's
thinking of Chill Penguin.
anyway. I'm pretty sure it was Gatorade Blue. Mixed with Jones Blue Lemonade Soda.
Oh God!
And
one of the bad plays.
The third ingredient, I honestly don't even remember what it's fucking called. It's one of those naked juices. It's like Berry Rush or some shit. I don't know. It fit the color theme. And the last ingredient is the one that I'm most curious about is coconut water. All topped off with Evan Williams whiskey.
That's supposed to be very good for your fitness hip cred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I mixed it
I
with
read
shit
something
whiskey.
today that was basically it's completely useless.
Of course it fucking is.
Okay. It's whiskey and I put a bunch of hydrating stuff in there, so I feel.
So tell us how this tastes because
Have you had any yet? That's the real question.
No, the virgin drink is always on the air.
I was up and around. I wasn't sure.
No.
What was going on?
I feel like okay.
Take yourself whole hog into that.
It smells kind of good. That's disappointing because that is actually really, really good.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
You thought it was... Oh, okay.
Share it with the class.
Share with the class. Yeah. You definitely brought enough to share. You should see this fucking thing. It's like a 22-ounce glass.
I could make it
full
again.
Of this shit. I could drink that at a Sandals resort. I'm not.
Yeah.
That is,
I put it in a Sandals glass.
That's actually really good.
So
I just taste Gatorade with a little carbonation. That's all I taste.
Defying expectations and
I continue to be an unknown savant at mixing drinks.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, Kyle and I are drinking what was supposed to be the good drink, and it has just gone tits up from the start. So I was with my father today. My father's a winemaker,
He does other things.
No, among other things. But he's a hobbyist winemaker.
He makes wood davers.
He does make wood davers. No, but him and a friend of his, they make several hundred gallons of wine every year. They don't sell it, which is why they are hobbyists. They could sell it if they wanted to, but there's a number of licenses that would be involved in that. So we give a lot of it away as gifts, and people like it, and it's very good wine. They've won awards with it. The M&M produce company puts on wine competitions in Connecticut, and they've medaled there several times. So Kyle and I today are drinking. We're drinking a bottle of this.
No, you're not. You're not.
What did I do with the remains of the bottle?
I don't know.
I gave this bottle to Kyle.
Like in the winter,
I
think.
This is an Old Vine Red Zin from 2012, and it's oaked, and that means that it was briefly aged in an oak barrel. Or it might have had oak chips added to it. I have to check my facts on that. But as I was opening this bottle of wine, I did something that I have never done before, and that is I broke a wine bottle. And I don't know if anybody's ever tried to force a wine bottle open before, but it is nearly impossible to break the glass on a wine bottle. And it's been in the fridge for a long time, and I think just with the metal bottle opener, I managed to take a good solid chunk out of the neck of this bottle. So I, of course, poured the rest of the wine in the pitcher for a blender, and now Kyle and I are drinking it out of these questionable daiquiri cups.
The only things resembling it's basically the only glasses with stems in my apartment.
So it's the old Vine. Oh, there's the timer.
You are gonna go home.
Well, we're still gonna talk about this. It's the Old Vine Red Zinfandel, so it's kind of a heavy red wine, and my dad made it, and it's a little old. It's been in the fridge for a while, but I think it's still pretty good.
It's fine.
Yeah. Sometime we're gonna get some of the wine that comes from the grapes that are actually growing in my backyard.
Nice.
And we'll get that down here. That's a nice white wine that's really good for the summertime, and that would be a good thing to talk about. We don't really have a whole lot to say about this, honestly, because the story of getting it out of the bottle was more exciting than anything else.
I'm not a wine drinker. I wouldn't even know what to talk about.
Yeah, I was just down with them while they were making the wine today, and it's like, it would be great if we could drink some on the program. And I remember that I had given you that bottle, I think, when you moved in here.
No, it was past that. That was several years ago.
Okay, all right.
It
says
2012
on the label, so it can't be older than that.
Which do you guys prefer, red or white?
I like white wine.
Yeah.
I used to like red wine a lot. I like white wine now because, for whatever reason, red wine really kills my acid reflux.
Same thing with me.
Yeah.
Gives me heartburn when I drink it.
Yeah, I just can't deal. And I used to love red wine. I used to drink red wine by the bottle, by the box.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what did it, honestly.
Oh, God. Did you do the Tour de Franzia?
I sure did, Tex.
Oh, I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
Your freshman year room stunk of wine.
So did the sophomore year room.
No, yeah, but...
You were rarely in my freshman year room. We were always in your freshman year room.
No one was in anyone's freshman year room. We went at it raw in one of the lounges.
Yeah, we were...
Homeless,
yeah. All right, so let's move it right along.
Let's lead in here.
One of the things that Ryan mentioned last week to me after we finished the program is like, if we're going to have this on the Health Breakfast site, we should probably talk about the Health Breakfast comic. Sort of a week in review sort of thing. So we're just going to touch on that really quickly. I'm not even going to bother doing a 5 minutes on the clock because I don't think we're going to have 5 minutes to fill.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to talk about comics on the internet. We're going to talk about Broodhollow today because Kyle read all of Broodhollow.
All of Broodhollow.
Kyle was planning to read a little bit of Broodhollow to prepare for the segment, and Kyle ended up reading all of Broodhollow, which should tell you enough about that. So we're gonna have a good long discussion about that as well. But the Health Breakfast for this past week.
Let's get this out of the way. The comic's gone to shit since Ryan disappeared.
Oh yeah, God. I mean, how can you have a comic like that without?
How can you have a gaping hole and not have Ryan there?
Really?
Yeah. I miss the tiki masks myself.
I like the tiki mask. Honestly, it's been quite a load off for me not doing the sort of real life characters anymore. I like working with the completely fictional characters. As a creator, it's been a sort of a freeing experience to just kind of be able to do anything and have any kind of story without having people come up to me the week after and go, "Ooh, what was that based on? What happened in your week this life? What happened in your life this week that made you want to write that?" And in a lot of cases before it was nothing. I just kind of made it up, and now there's really nothing for anybody to go back to and latch onto that I can have to try to refute. So did you guys read it this week? I know Ryan did. I don't know, Kyle. Did you bother?
No.
But he reads it.
Keep me grounded at least.
He reads it at the end of the month at the
Patreon.
Patreon.
There is. You're going to have a package coming up soon.
And I refuse to give you money.
We're recording this on August 3rd. Obviously, Healthy Breakfast was patron funded for the fourth month running, I think. Fourth or fifth month running. In July. He meant fantastic thanks to all my patrons. And of course, I'll be putting up some information on the site for anybody who also wants to get on the bus. Existing patrons will, of course, be getting this podcast along with a bunch of other goodies coming up pretty much as soon as the e-check from Patreon clears.
They'll be getting the fucking uncensored version.
Yeah, well, as opposed to the censored version where we don't talk about all the...
The sheep are lonely.
Yeah. No.
I don't know, man. I'm off the cuff.
You're already halfway through that thing.
Yeah, it's going to be gone in a minute.
To a good place.
It's good.
The Healthy Breakfast right now, again, completely fictional story. We're going in a real weird fiction direction. I'm loving it.
I mean, here's a question that I can ask you because I don't think I ever go in front of the curtain. I'm pretty much always behind the curtain on most of this shit.
You never get the benefit of being a first-time reader because you're very involved in the entire process.
So there's a lot of elements in this current story that have been cobbled together from various projects that you've sort of started and stopped. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of curious, what made this the one that you, honest to God, sat down and you drew it? That is an enormous investment in time.
Well, it is kind of a Frankenstein of ideas that has ended up working. I had the Wynn character who was the protagonist from the Old Bones short story, who I kind of designed on a whim in like a day, and I loved the character, and I love drawing her, and I have a lot of fun with her facial expressions and just the kind of nonsense that she gets into. And then the Roosevelt and Pierce characters were designed to be used in something like a story very much like this, but that I could just never wrap my head around and get off the very conceptual stage. But again, two more characters that I really liked, and from when I work, it's all about the characters. And so to have these three characters that I really latched onto, and I had this story idea that was kind of a 3-character story that I could launch into with that. So that's kind of how it all came together.
So you had your characters essentially waiting in the wings, and so it was basically just that you had a smaller scale story.
Yeah,
because you did Old Bones, that's small scale. You're doing the Mouth. So far, that's been incredibly small scale with like one transitionary period. That seems to work better for you.
I like to attack things on a small level. Okay. I like the idea of going moment to moment and not really having a whole lot of gigantic time skips within the confines of the single narrative. Now, there's a strong, I'm going to go ahead and say 95% chance that you're going to see a sequel to this Mouth story after it's over, and there will probably be some kind of time skip involved there, but again, that's not a single narrative. That's going to be a jump to a new story where new things are going to happen. So it's one of the things that has really been exciting for me to work on, and it's really gotten me to be very inspired about my own work and get excited about my own work, which is something that's important.
I mean, the last word that I'll say on the matter, just based on, again, the things that I know.
We've been rambling for a little while now.
Maybe we should have
You should have put 5 minutes on
Yeah, I was about to say.
5 minutes on it. I want to get to Broodhollow really badly, so put the period on this one.
Okay, it interests me that the way that you attack small scale is you tend to do small scale in very isolated environments. Even, I'm just going to say, the boat was going to be a very isolated environment. That's interesting to me, whereas I like to work in small scale contrasted with giant empty spaces.
Well, it's like, honestly, it's like Resident Evil. It's like The Mansion. I love The Mansion.
Fair enough. You don't like Africa?
I don't like Africa.
I'm going to take that soundbite.
Yeah. I don't like Africa.
That's going to be my text tone until they hit me.
Excellent. All right, let's move on.
Youths.
Let's
All
move
right.
on to. I put my phone back in my pocket because I'm a goddamn idiot.
We're going to talk about Broodhollow now.
We're going to talk about
You
Broodhollow.
can't put 5 minutes on the clock. There's too much to talk about.
I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to see how much we can crank out before
All right.
we just demand more time from the clock. So, Broodhollow. I'm going to let Kyle start this segment because he just read it.
Oh God! So yeah, you told me to read Broodhollow. I think it might have been either that night or the next night.
No, this night. We said it on the
It was
air.
last week, yeah.
Right? No, he said it last week. I'm unsure if I read it that night or that night after. But it was just like I was like, I'll read maybe like the first chapter of this. It's just like
It's
about
not.
an hour and a half. I think it took me to get through the rest of it. Excuse me. I don't know when I sent you a fucking message over Skype, and I'm just like, I read the whole thing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was the middle of the night on like Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
I think. And it's not long, and it really does eat.
And
you
I mean,
up.
it's quick. I mean, each strip is very quick.
Yeah,
It's
it took me about 2 hours, I would
Yeah,
say.
right around there.
what's really bizarre to me is that it's
It's fucking weird, man.
that, but he freestyles a lot of his panel layouts, but for the most part, the vast majority of I'm going to call it the book because he has put it out in a book form.
The first
this is
book,
Chris
yeah.
Straub we're talking about, of course.
Chris Straub at Broodhollow. Is it no chainsawsuit.broodhollow.com.
Broodhollow.com. Chris Straub is a very talented author and artist behind most famously Chainsaw Suit, but
No,
also
most famously Starslip.
really I was going to say most famously I was going to say also Starslip, but
No.
okay, sorry. Most famously Starslip, also Chainsaw Suit, which is my favorite, and F Chords, which I don't know if is still going on.
No,
That
that
one
was
never
that was
really
a
grabbed
Scott, that
me.
was a Scott Kurtz joint, and from what I know of Scott Kurtz joints, they don't last very long.
Okay.
At least not without transferring into
So,
management.
yeah, sorry, Chris. I tried to read F Chords. I couldn't get into it. Broodhollow though is definitely your tour de force.
You can't stop reading.
He's not
yeah,
listening to you.
And
And
you
of
know
course-
what? Someday he will be, and he'll be glad.
I will say this to you, Kyle, though. You can stop reading. Because you read it in a night. I started reading Broodhollow right when it started, and I'll tell you exactly where I got to. I got to what I would call the first massive tone change, which is Ouster Eve. The bats.
Mm-hmm.
I got to about the middle of that sequence and said...
Let's try to avoid major spoilers, just in case anybody hasn't read this yet. And the bats is not really, but
Neither is Ouster Eve. I will
Yeah.
avoid major spoilers because it can be spoiled. I stopped there because I had to sit down with myself and say, I want to read this all when it's done. And
That's fair.
that's what it is. So I stopped
I
there,
can see that.
and then I read the whole damn thing.
I did, it's one of those comics where I was in that same camp when I first started reading it, and I did stop for a long time and let a lot of them build up. I am now reading it week to week because I want
No, of course, the week when I first decided to start reading, he hasn't updated since I got to the most recent comic.
What's the most recent comic?
Oh, actually,
It was Tuesdays.
He's
and he did not
updated
update-
twice since then.
What?
yeah, no, there actually
I checked today.
There actually is a small problem with the site, and I've noticed this on a couple of my machines. For whatever reason, if you have the homepage bookmarked,
Yeah.
it doesn't update the comic for you. So
So I have to hit next.
go one. No, you can't even hit next. It'll be grayed out. You got to go one back and then hit latest. And so it is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
That-
the
that is a
most
problem with the
recent
site.
one I read was the one with the sacks over the heads.
There's been
Yeah.
about 3 since then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But again, we're avoiding major spoilers,
Yep.
so we're gonna.
Yep.
Right,
But-
it's a brilliant comic, and as we mentioned last week, Ryan said, and he quoted what was it, Slow Beef from
Slow Beef.
Red Spray. It's Tintin goes to Innsmouth, and
Yeah.
it's
Fantastic explanation.
It's,
And I remember shooting you updates while I was reading. Just like, oh man, he's going nuts.
It is probably one of the best Lovecraft style stories I've ever read, and not counting the master himself, of course. And one of the biggest problems people have with a lot
You?
of with me, no, with Lovecraft stories, with trying to write in Lovecraft style, is that there's a thunderstorm coming.
No,
That's a motorcycle.
that's just a fucking
jackass.
asshole
It's a
Harley rider.
thunderstorm coming. One of the biggest problems people have with people trying to tackle Lovecraft style and Lovecraft's world is they show you the monster and they keep showing you the monster and they keep talking about the monster I think that Chris Straub does a very good job of capturing the uncertainty, the insanity, the all the little pieces of subtlety that make up a really good Lovecraftian horror story, and manage to put it into a comic.
No, it's skillful throughout, and essentially what it comes down to is he is at this point he is unarguably a master of the unreliable narrator.
He's also actually he's an extremely, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Chris Straub is also extremely well known for creepypasta writing.
Yes, he is.
Which is
really?
Oh, yeah.
We're still talking.
We're still going to talk about it. Fuck you.
You know, what the fuck is the point of 5 minutes on the clock? Everybody say, well, we're just going to keep talking about it.
Yeah, you know, it's a guideline, I guess, and maybe we'll give it up at some point.
I'll argue with him about it tonight in bed.
I'm not gonna lie. It's something that I was attached to when we were first starting out, and I think I'm ready.
We were attached to a lot of.
We were attached to a lot.
Although I mean, it is a good idea to have a frame, basically to make sure we move on to the next.
So can we invite Jeremy back, or are we just going to keep editing him out of every podcast?
Jeremy can go fuck himself.
Jackass.
Jeremy moved to Maryland. You're not going to see him anymore.
Shallow ditch.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. Here's the way that I would describe Broodhollow with absolutely no spoilers, because it's an analogy, is it's a very pleasant little song where occasionally the bow scrapes against the bridge. Occasionally there's that jangling chord. Everything is wrong, followed by panic. The panic slides away, but you know the situation isn't resolved. And there's so much underlying tension.
The best thing is that the main character of the comic of Wadsworth Zane is very he's hapless, kind of everyman, bumbling hero.
He's incredibly bright.
He is. He's a Lovecraftian
Lovecraftian
He's
protagonist.
a traveling encyclopedia salesman who comes to this town called Broodhollow because an uncle of his died, and
he is the last of kin.
He's the last
next of kin. Excuse me.
And
both.
So he left him his creepy storefront in this inexplicably creepy town. So we're all loving it. Chris, we hope you keep writing till the day you die, and we just really hope that you don't die in Broodhollow, because oh god, that would be just the worst.
That ending to book 1 was kick-ass. There are so many points when you could have ended it, and God bless you for doing what you did. I started to get little hints of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
How can you not Twin Peaks? How's Annie? You haven't watched Twin Peaks yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, fuck you.
Anyway, I got like 4 episodes in.
Yeah, it's so good.
I may go back to it. To whet the reader's appetite, in book 2, a new character comes to town. I forget his name, unfortunately. He's a novelist. He's a novelist, a mystery novelist, fittingly enough. And that character is what lesser writers would have made Zane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting on a level of like...
He is the Ken to Zane's Ryu.
Yeah, like if you look at the balance in the story, it would be so easy for that character, this pseudo-skeptic, to fuck up everything. But he's I don't know, it's very well done. I guess that's what it always comes back to.
Zane's brilliant because he's an outsider who ends up
inside,
becoming ingrained in the town and its dealings. So I
fucking cadavre. He's Francais.
Yeah, he's this flouncy French skeleton, and who occasionally will appear in dream sequences. But there have been cadavre features where it's just this skeleton in a striped shirt and a beret, smoking a cigarette and musing
about life.
It's still morbid, but it's kind of a nice break from the
I don't know if you caught this. He shows up in dream sequences because he is a feature in the Broodhollow paper.
That's right. That is right.
He is essentially Garfield.
The world is incredibly rich.
This cadaver hate Mondays.
You better goddamn believe he does.
His friend hates Mondays. He's French. The French don't have Mondays. They
don't have hate.
They have lundi. They have apathy.
All right. Let's give Kyle more to talk about. Let's do this week's wrestling rundown with 2 W's.
So I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
I'm putting 5 minutes on the clock. I'm putting 5
There's
minutes.
one bullet point under there that I am going to want to talk about.
There's a lot of things in this week's
there's
wrestling
a few of them.
rundown.
Well, I mean, the first one I remember is that
hit it fast. 5 minutes on the clock.
All right, number 1.
Keep doing that
until I hit you.
Well, the big news is, and actually this is shaky information that TNA is not going to be renewing with Spike, or rather, Spike is not going to be renewing TNA Impact.
Didn't have enough tits and ass.
It means total nonstop action, Ryan.
God.
Thank you.
But basically, the big deal is, if they don't renew, they don't have a TV deal. So, I mean, I think it's more than likely that some other channel is going to pick them up for a huge discount. Or maybe even Spike would take it at a big discount.
TNA is so far in the hole, though, and I don't know if anybody remembers what killed ECW, but essentially being in debt and not having a distribution deal is what ended ECW.
Yeah.
And TNA has way worse off financially than ECW was.
Now, speaking as someone who's ignorant, is TNA, I assume it's associated with WWE.
No,
TNA is a completely different company.
I didn't know there were any more competitors.
They came around, I think, in like the in the aughts, in the early aughts, I think. And they were going to be a competitor, and for a while, like they were up there. Like people, you could even argue at points, TNA was a better product simply because like when TNA was hot, which was I would say like I think like probably 05 to as recently as like 09. And I could be completely wrong. I'm not that familiar with TNA.
Fact checking will ruin all podcasts.
Yeah. But anyway, like WWE was not like their product wasn't great at that point, and TNA had a good product at that.
Wasn't they were the hot young thing in them tight fitting clothes kind of? We're talking about right when they hit. Okay.
All right. So TNA could be in the shit. Let's move on to more important matters. Those more important matters being. Who could be behind the Darth Vader helmet in Star
Jesus
Wars 7?
H. Christ. No, I'm taking over this segment. Fuck that! That is...
Hang on, let's explain what the fuck we're talking about
Fine,
first.
Sheamus might be Darth Vader. There, I said it.
Sheamus has already been Darth Vader. He might be again.
Jesus fucking Christ. This is
it's
stupid.
It's not going to be his voice. It's still going to be James Earl Jones. He just
no,
be the dude
but
in the
this
costume.
is... Okay, it's stupid on every possible level. You're telling me he's not the voice. That's fine. I like Mufasa as Darth Vader. Why would you pay whatever Sheamus money is to put him in a Darth Vader suit?
To get WWE production money.
Fine, you get WWE production money. This is all glossing over the major concern. Why the fuck is Darth Vader in Episode 7?
Flashbacks.
No!
I would have to think. That's a legit question. Like,
that is a legitimate question, and I'm almost 100% certain that the answer is flashbacks, and I've seen that already.
Here is because I was thinking about it a lot this week when I was getting pissed off about this. The only way that I am at all okay with Darth Vader even appearing in name more than once in this fucking movie is if it's 50 years in the future. The galaxy is an absolute anarchy. Whatever.
Darth Vader's too.
No. One of the antagonists, mind you, is some kind of cult of Vader. If Sheamus is the guy, is like the village headman who dresses up as Vader.
Didn't Cult of Vader happen in one of the Jedi Knight games?
Doesn't matter. They're all legends. They don't exist anymore. You guys are aware of that, I assume?
Yeah, the whole canon's dead.
Yeah, all of it's legends now.
Can we just say this once and for all before we have to maybe never mention it again? But Darthella!
No.
Oh man, but yeah, apparently Sheamus had been the man in the costume for like Star Wars. Events.
for some kind of Star Wars event, televised event, was on camera and is him in the costume. And he's a big, 6'6" strapping dude. He's the kind of physique that should be behind Darth Vader, as opposed to the whiny teenager of Hayden Christensen, which never made any kind of sense.
If Darth Vader's in that fucking trailer, I'm not going to see this movie.
But
no,
first of all,
flat out.
you are.
No,
Second,
I'm not.
Okay, well, you're the only person in the world I think I would believe that from.
Because all that says to me is JJ was brought on by Disney, who said, "We bought Star Wars, make us a Star Wars." Like,
that actually sounds about right.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go see a Star Wars. I will go see JJ attempting to build a new story in that world, but I am tired of that asthmatic jackass.
I don't actually know what J.J. Abrams looks like.
No, me either.
I'm talking about
Vader.
Oh,
okay. Oh.
He was everywhere in the fucking prequels.
I thought you were laying the smackdown on J.J. Abrams.
No. J.J. Abrams just kind of looks a little bit like the 10th Doctor.
And that's a good place for that. Did you have any other things you wanted to bring up?
What other bullet points do you have?
I had a This Week in Wrestling, and then I had WWE Network, Great Idea or Greatest Idea.
Well, I mean, This Week in Wrestling, nothing
Nothing happened.
I mean,
nothing happened.
It's basically all of wrestling right now is basically just like, hey, wait till SummerSlam.
Brock Lesnar will victimize John Cena.
Yeah, that was the new word we got in that little lexicon. Yeah. I guess Cesaro isn't on the same shit list he was.
Cesaro has new music. Somebody's Cheerios.
Cesaro has new fucking entrance music.
And it's awful! Oh god!
They replaced the air raid siren with a ambulance siren.
It's the worst.
It's not good.
Now,
because he's from Switzerland. Okay, and the only other thing I can remember, because I listened to Raw through a phone-based Skype connection. I did not actually view it.
Yeah, we did not pay very close attention to Raw.
The only thing I can remember from Raw is Stephanie McMahon is going to have a match at SummerSlam. That's at least something I'm going to enjoy watching.
She's planning to make Brie Bella her expletive deleted.
And the other thing being, I'm sorry, man, Chris Jericho continues to be lame.
No, we talked about this.
We talked about this earlier this week.
Kyle and I rewatched the promo, and I blame myself for not paying close enough attention. It was
a good promo.
It was vintage Jericho.
Okay, well then I think that.
And then he had a good match with Seth Rollins.
All right, see, I didn't see the match.
Complete with him calling Stephanie McMahon a trash bag.
Yeah, I mean, for such a
that was definitely a vintage Jericho promo.
For such a giant Jerichoholic, I've been very down on Chris Jericho since he's come back, and I think I need to get out of my own ass and
see the problem with me is, as I said last week, I'm not a Jericho mark. I came into wrestling last fucking year, and I have no appreciation for the rich history. To me, it's very hard to distinguish when Jericho is being lame because that's Jericho, and when Jericho is being lame because he's being lame.
CoolDads.net. Cool Dads on the net. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, he was really awesome when he got fucking plowed into a closet in his sequin everything.
And you know what? He sold dead pretty damn good. All right, let's move on to our next topic.
I don't remember what it is.
The next topic is games. We've had a lot of gaming developments this week.
We have.
Kyle and I have both made some major purchases. Ryan continues to disappoint us on every level.
I just dropped $600 on a new laptop. Get out of my ass.
So Kyle bought himself a PS4 this week. Mm-hmm. I bought a Wii U this week. Mm-hmm. I think you've probably got more to talk about than I do.
I mean, I bet he's going to be maining Pac-Man in the new Smash, but other than that...
I look forward to it.
I will continue to play Samus.
He hungers for victory.
The thing about Samus, like, in Brawl, it really bothered me. It was a neat idea.
Did you guys see that? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is going to be way better. Did you guys see that comic where they were saying we can't add Ridley, he's too big. People clearly want another Metroid character. Adam Malkovich authorizes the battle.
Oh no!
It's the worst.
Don't do that.
No, he could have all kinds of melee attacks with that stick up his ass.
Don't even say these things.
Let's talk about your PS4, Kyle. 5 minutes on the clock. Go for it.
Awesome. The PS4 is pretty hype, but this is also pretty disappointing.
Yeah?
In the sense, I mean, it's pretty... Alright. When I say...
I'm having a great time, but it's the worst fucking thing I've ever put my hands on.
It sounds like a first grader's topic sentence.
So the thing with the PS4 is just like, the system works great. I like the layout they're working with.
It boots.
Did you want
now to the bad? What?
A
little bit of wine, a little bit of blender wine.
Lovely. So what gets me though is like, I have my setup in the living room. I have, the Wii U set up, the cable box on the next level up, and then I have the PS3. And what's fucking terrible is that I can't, move the PS3 because none of my fucking games from PS3 will work on PS4. What are you doing? No, don't do that.
Oh, all right.
Drink your wine
like a man.
I was hoping to get more of my bullshit.
Like a man!
The lack of backwards compatibility is bothering me more than anything else. Because I've had to put in, a little HDMI system switcher up there.
Troublesome.
But it's I can completely understand why, they wouldn't keep PS3 retail game compatibility.
Can you understand it or can you respect it? Because there's two different things.
Both.
All right.
Because I think about it like this: when they wanted to make the PS3 backwards compatible with the PS2, they took a hardware loss and basically just put the guts of a PS2 inside a PS3 for that first generation one. I can understand because you can't emulate something like that on a PS3. It's probably not powerful enough. With the PS4, they weren't willing to make that same hardware cost of putting a PS3 into a PS4 and emulating it wouldn't really be feasible technically.
I can respect that, but I'm going to bring up the example of like a Mass Effect series. Making Mass Effect 1 into Mass Effect 2 was difficult because they weren't necessarily planning on it. 2 into 3 was way easier because they were planning both link-ups in advance. If you had that problem with the 2 to the 3...
Here's the thing, though. This isn't an issue of writing. This is an issue of technical ability. Yeah. This is an issue of engineering.
I tell you what I like about the PS4
and price, essentially.
I got a minute with this. I got a minute with it this afternoon. We played a little bit. What was the game we were playing?
We played Resogun, which is super hype.
I like the new DualShock.
Oh my god, yeah. The new DualShock is the best one they've had.
No, and that is exactly what I've heard. I haven't had hands-on with it.
I mean, you can play around with it afterward if we want.
Might take you up on that.
But yeah, like the thing is, I can understand not keeping PS3 compatibility. But what does bother me is why can't I bring over my PlayStation originals and like the PS3 arcade games? You know what I mean?
Your PSN games, you mean?
Yeah, like I'd like to bring over Third Strike.
Migrate the account?
No, you can migrate the account, but none of your games come with it. None
of
the games.
I played a little Third Strike this afternoon.
We did. It was a lot of fun.
I got my ass kicked. Pretty good.
I know. I was on a roll this afternoon.
I did get one victory. I was playing Oro. I got a couple rounds in here and there. I was doing all right, but we need to practice that again. We need to get back into that.
Yep. So I've given my PS4 spiel. How's your new Wii U treating you?
I like the Wii U. You know, I was resisting buying any consoles in this generation because I am part of the glorious PC master race, and I made the declaration that after I got my PS3, I was never going to buy another console.
Which is a damn shame because you bought a fight stick.
I know.
But those Nintendo games, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's the Nintendo first parties that are bringing me back, and with Smash coming, I was gonna get Smash for my 3DS and be done with that. But then Mario Kart 8 happened, and then you know, it's something I can do with Kayla as well. It's something we both enjoy. You know, the Nintendo games, and I enjoy it more than she does, but she still does. Will play with me at least, which is more than I can say for pretty much any other console. Yeah. So that's a big pull for me.
I mean, she mains Ibuki in Third Strike, but she doesn't put the time in.
Yeah, you know, she says she mains Ibuki, but I'm not even sure she knows the whole move list yet.
No, and Ibuki has a massive move list. I think she just likes boyfriend jutsu.
I think so.
His boyfriend jutsu is good.
But no,
turns out she mains Sean and is too ashamed to admit.
I've been playing Mario Kart 8. I've been playing the new Super Mario Bros. U, which is identical to the new Super Mario
all the other ones.
You know, it's fine. It's a good game, but it's just exactly the same.
Those games.
So I'm looking forward to some of the other.
There's no difference between
coming out.
Those games don't have any soul.
I'll probably be getting Bayonetta 2. I'll definitely be getting the new Super Smash Brothers.
See, this is something I find.
And so we're going to cover all the bases eventually. And I'm excited to have it. I'm excited for the first party games, and that's really the only reason why I have the Wii U is for the Nintendo first parties.
Yep.
And the timer has rung.
That's actually a really good time to stop that whole conversation. But
all right.
But you could say it. You could see.
I mean, the thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't even know if it's the last word, so we can just move past it if we decide that's the fact. But this kind of like, I bought it because of the Nintendo first parties. I guess I missed out on that. Like, even if I weren't the cheap motherfucker that I am, I would never get a Wii or a Wii U because the Nintendo first parties don't appeal to me at all. Yeah, it's weird standing outside that fire because if you're not already invested, it feels very nostalgic.
I like Nintendo.
It kind of is because I mean it's almost completely. It's just like I had a Super Nintendo growing up.
But you know, I hear there's a new Star Fox coming, so
and I want that.
But see, it's. I didn't have a NES. I didn't have a SNES. I had an N64, but I had very few of the Kingpin titles. Like I had Smash and I had Mario Kart 64, but then I had like Spider-Man, which I come to find out is a port from the PS1. Then I didn't have a GameCube, so I missed out on all of those games. And at my age now, they have zero pull to me.
So speaking of Street Fighter 3, as we just were,
yes.
Ryan,
because we're going to edit that part out.
Ryan, you talked last week about how you wanted to talk a little bit about fight games this week.
At least for the 5 minutes on the clock.
We'll put the 5 minutes on the clock and
talk some fight games.
Yeah, but specifically with regards to skill barriers and top tier play, because
you're playing Third Strike. That's a hard barrier.
Well, it's a fun game though.
It's a hard barrier, but none of us play against anyone that's good enough so that it matters. We play against each other.
We're all very casual fighting game players. Kyle and I both have arcade sticks. just because we wanted to have the hardware and we enjoy playing the game more on that platform. We're not good players by any means.
Not even a little.
But we do enjoy playing.
We would go online and just get fucking bodied.
We get bodied. Yeah. So I'm gonna start the 5 minutes on the clock. And Ryan has been playing. You've been playing a lot of Skullgirls and Street Fighter 4. And is that it recently?
I mean,
5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, 5 minutes on the clock. I mean, the weird thing is, you list those two games, and those are the ones that I played the most recently. I also play P4 Arena whenever we're at Kyle's house. It's Persona 4 Arena.
We should boot that up again soon.
And the reason, and that is
the podcast tonight.
And that is by far my favorite fighting game that I've played because I'm a sucker for the ArcSys fighting game system.
You gotta have all those meters and
except for Blast Blue. Blast Blue would be fine if the character design weren't soulless and atrocious. Anyway.
Talk about what you want to talk about. Don't hate on Blast Blue. Right
okay, so the problem that I have with fighting games, and specifically in terms of the skill barrier, like I'll watch Marvel Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 kind of thing, or Skullgirls, which I have played online, and the weird thing to me is it's a solid wall between the casuals and the advanced. To the point, but it's to the point where the casual will look at the advanced play and will not recognize the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the point I want to get to. Is this idea that to transcend between that wall, you have to stop playing the game that you have been playing and ostensibly have been enjoying. Like I grew
you gotta get good.
No. Like, you have to get good at a different game. Like if I play Street Fighter 4, what's my favorite part? I like jumping in, doing the punch, and the Hadoken because I'm a casual fighting game player. If I want to transcend that at all, I gotta be FADC canceling. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
No, you don't.
I really feel like it's the difference between the guys who like to toss a pigskin and play a little touch football in their backyard and the NFL.
But it's not. The difference there is it's even starker.
Yeah.
Because the elements are still the same. There are entire move sets in fighting games that you just don't use at the advanced level. It bothers me that in order to get to the advanced level, you have to strip out so much of a fighting game. Fighting games become so bare bones once they reach the...
You know where you see that most, honestly, is people that play Smash competitively.
It's less about...
I hate competitive Smash players.
I fucking hate competitive Smash.
They love Melee because they broke it.
It becomes less about fun and more... The fun for them is in the competition. It's not in the game itself. It's in being... It's in winning. And I think that's what Pat from The Best Friend said, the reason why fighting games are the only true... games. It's because you can point to someone and say, they are the winner. That guy won.
Yeah. but the amount of time essentially I'm making an argument for why I will always be a scrub. Because I look at what I would have to do to get good and I say, that is not fun.
Yeah.
That is not the game I wish to be playing. It bears very little resemblance to the game I am playing now. Like, I like to play...
I spent about 2 minutes in a match this afternoon. Probably not that long because the rounds aren't that long. But I spent a good portion of a round this afternoon. A round that I probably could have won if I had not been trying to do this, but yelling at my controller, trying to grind out a super. Just be like, come on!
I mean, that I will allow, because if you want to get good and you're telling me you got to get good with execution, you have to make a quarter circle motion and have it come out 100% of the time.
That's why I got to start practicing again, because I'm way rusty.
I appreciate that, but like even Skullgirls, and Skullgirls is kind of a hyper fighter, so it does sort of equate to Marvel vs. Capcom.
It's got an excellent entry level platform, though.
No, it doesn't. If you play against the AI in Skullgirls, you are actively getting worse at playing the game.
Oh, interesting.
Because here's the thing: the AI will teach you nothing but bad habits. If you get a chance to hit your opponent and you do less than 66% of their life bar, you are going to lose that game. Assuming that they are at all skilled. Skullgirl, and that's what happens is like a drink that separates. Skullgirls very, very clearly separates into two modes.
Sounds very much like I'd be very afraid to be on the top tier there.
No, Skullgirls is two characters circling around each other, throwing shit out, trying to like poke. And as soon as one of those pokes connects, you need to be on them, punishing for 66 to 75 to 100% life bars.
So it's soccer.
What? You broke me entirely. How does this have anything to do with that Euro Trish fat sport?
I I was hating on soccer during the World Cup because I'm not a soccer fan. I have no interest in it. But Ryan described soccer to me as two teams straining against each other until one makes a momentary mistake and the other one takes advantage, causing crushing damage.
It's why soccer is a fun game to watch for people who aren't Americans.
Yeah. But no, it really does sound like that kind of scenario where the entirety of the match can be decided by a single mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Because even if your character dies and another one's coming in, they can hit you and lock you in what amounts to an infinite combo.
Yeah. But this difference between the casual play and the top level play in there is exactly what bothers me about people that play Smash competitively. Where it's just like you're taking all the things that I have fun with in Smash and taking it away.
So
it's just like I love the items. Okay, I love fucking around in Smash Brothers,
and that's why
that's
why the guy who makes Smash hates them too.
That's the game to me.
So that's we've kind of established what we like about fighting games.
That was the 5 minutes I wanted to have. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about comics off the internet.
Alrighty.
I'm about to go silent for another 5 minutes.
I thought you'd read Saga. That was why I put it on the list.
What's Saga?
Never mind then.
Yeah, maybe we won't talk about Saga. Have you read? You didn't read Invincible either, I bet.
No, I don't even know what either of those two things are.
Maybe we won't talk about comics off the internet.
We won't put 5 minutes on the clock. But
I'll ruin everything.
No, just because I want to talk.
You have Saga Volume 3 that you need to give me.
No, I have Saga Volume 3 that I need to read. I recently put in. Here's my explanation. Saga, by the way, is
Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples, excellent.
Fiona Staples is the artist. Brian K. Vaughan is the writer. Brian K. Vaughan has written numbers,
including Why the Last Man,
which I have read in its entirety, and
I've read the first volume.
Except for I have problems with Why the Last Man, but they come into it rather late in the game. Anyway.
Oh, we're gonna need to
spoiler, possibly.
Some more drinks. Do we have any more drinks we wanted to bring down? Why don't you go get a couple of the surprise guest beverage of the evening from upstairs?
I thought it was. That's not.
Yeah, that's something else. This is the other surprise guest beverage of the evening.
We're
in the cans.
Oh God! All right.
We're gonna send you on a mission.
You know what? Yeah, you guys keep talk about comics off the internet. I'll be back.
Okay.
Also, do you want this?
Yeah, I'll take it. Sure.
Okay. For the listeners, Kyle just handed out, but
I'm drinking all the wine. I'm not drinking your wine.
No, I wanted other things. Anyway, so Fiona Staples, Brian K. Vaughan, fantastic comic. I read Volume 1, and after reading, I think 5 pages of Volume 1, I went on Amazon and ordered Volume 2. Like, it was that immediate.
We're both in love with that comic. It's fantastic.
Once it arrived, I waited for a special occasion. Like, I finished Volume 1, and then I waited, I think it was for my birthday, and then I sat down and I reread Volume 1 and I read Volume 2. And I had waited for Volume 3, for which I'd pre-ordered, it came in. And then I was faced with a conundrum. As soon as I read Volume 3, I will have read Volume 3. And there will be no more volumes for me to read.
The conundrum that I'm faced with is you need to read Volume 3
so that I
can read Volume 3. I've got too many doodles of Prince Robot in my sketchbook.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, so I recently put in an order for a couple more.
It's the surprise guest of the evening. Why, it's Miller High Life Light in cans.
I am absolutely astounded that they spelled light correctly.
It's the champagne of beers, but light and in cans. Yeah.
Wine to the left to me, Miller to the right, and here I am about to throw the fuck up.
Stuck in the middle of you. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so I ordered a couple of new comics. I ordered the next volume of East to West.
Oh, love that comic.
I ordered the next 2 volumes of Ex Machina, which is it's another Brian. It's the older Brian K. Vaughan.
I'm very on Ex Machina, and I'm told that I should be more excited about it, but I'm still kind of
I think when I give you Saga Volume 3, which will probably be within the next week or so, I could probably give you East to West as well. Yeah. So I'll give you that, and I'll give you everything I have of Ex Machina. You can flip through the first one and see if you can get into it. But Kyle is back. So no, the one other thing I want to talk about is...
We're not going to talk about Invincible this week. We will talk about Invincible at some point, but not this week.
Okay.
Because Invincible is worth talking about.
Do you have more Invincible than I have?
No, I only have the first volume, but it's still worth talking about.
And you loved it after that?
I like it, yeah. Okay. I like it a lot. And I don't...
No, I can see why you like it, but a lot of why I can see that you like it is because you like the character design for the dad.
There's a lot building behind the scenes of that comic.
Says you.
That is waiting to burst out, in my opinion.
Yeah, that shit's got to get twisted, or I'm going to get bored.
No, I really think it's going to, and it's written by Robert Kirkman, so how could it not? How much Walking Dead have you read?
2 volumes.
2 volumes.
2 trades.
2 trades. Yeah, there's I've read the first 2 compendiums, and Robert Kirkman is one fucked up dude.
Yeah, but my fear there is I'm going to care as much about the characters of Invincible as I do about the characters of Walking Dead.
There are fewer characters in Invincible, so you will. I think that.
I liked Robot.
I think you're going to see development on a smaller scale, and I think you're going to see drama on a smaller scale than you would in The Walking Dead. It might not be the kind of thing that you're into, because I know that you and I don't always match up on these things.
The main character's mind needs to shatter within the next 2 to 3 volumes.
I really think it's going to. Like,
I will let you be the purchaser of those volumes. And
that sounds fair enough. And I will buy them, because I really like Invincible.
And we will trade.
And with that, we just talked about Invincible. So, let's move on. I
don't know whether to have...
That was
die fast or slow.
We should have more comics off the internet, but we need to give Kyle
some comics to read off the internet.
Well, the listeners, and I'm referring to the casual listeners here, because those who are patrons of Hell to Breakfast did get the full cut.
The full library of the Hell to Breakfast show.
No, they got the full cut of last week's podcast, so they know.
No, they didn't. They're not. No one is ever getting that. That audio is gone forever.
Did you edit? I didn't actually.
I did. I edited about a half an hour out of that program.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Every single bit of it was me talking. What type of comics do you enjoy?
Oh God, I couldn't really give you a criteria.
Kyle doesn't. My opinion, Kyle didn't give a fuck. Kyle, let's give him things to read.
Give me a comic.
He will either like them or he will not, and that actually might be a fun thing to discuss: is whether or not Kyle liked whatever we give him to read.
Sure, let's do that.
So. All right. You give him Saga. I'll give him East to West. After I give him to you.
Look at that.
Yeah. So for our second segment tonight of What Are You Drinking and Why, and we're gonna overwhelm Mr. Kennedy here.
I'm trying to remember the handy little rhyme, because I can only remember the one about condoms.
Beer before liquor, never been sicker. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
So which should I drink first?
Drink the wine first. You want to go from high alcohol content down to low.
There wasn't much alcohol in that dishwater that I drank.
So you drank the whiskey first.
Berry dishwater.
Now you're drinking the wine, then you go to the beer. But I have a surprise for you this evening that I think you're going to like.
Headphones are going to reach.
It's alright. I hope it's vodka.
It's a much dearer, much older friend to you than that.
Is it Big Cock Wine? No. No! No! No!
It is Dr. McGillicuddy's intense menthol mint peppermint schnapps.
Not only can I taste it, I can taste vomit and carpet. Do not open that bottle.
Oh, yeah.
I dare do all that becomes a man, but that
smells like a wintergreen mint.
Oh God, it smells like stand-up comedy and tears.
Oh, pass me that.
Oh God.
I can see Cat Williams trapped under the stool as we speak.
It wasn't Cat Williams. It was
Cat Williams.
Yeah, no.
He was pimping.
Pimping.
But what if
we watched its pimping like 6 times?
Did we?
Yeah.
Or was
it was always on?
Or was its pimpin' on and we were awake?
Yeah.
Mighty fine beverage.
So we're gonna pass that around.
Fuck off, we are. Jesus Christ! I haven't even opened the beer.
So what are we drinking and why? We're drinking Miller High Life Light because we're gluttons for punishment, and we're drinking Dr. McGillicuddy's intense menthol mint schnapps because we hate Ryan. And we know about his history with the product.
I just want to point out on the bottle, that dog is dead.
He drank too much schnapps and now he's dead.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
It was one of those, I drank some and I wasn't feeling it. So I drank some more and I wasn't feeling it. I drank all of it and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Something is wrong. And there was nothing I could do but cook chicken. Mm-hmm.
We got to do our read, play, watch for the week. This is kind of how we ended last week's program, and that's how we're going to end this week's program. How are you entertaining yourselves this week, gentlemen? Let's slap 5 minutes heartily upon the clock and talk about it. What have you been playing? What have you been watching?
I can go first.
What have you been listening to?
Well, with my new PS4, I've been playing a few new games. I got The Last of Us Remastered, which has been excellent so far. I never actually played The Last of Us when it was on PS3. This is my first time through. It's fucking great so far. I think I'm 4 hours in.
Hey, further than I am at that point. I gotta get it back on.
Yeah, that's real good. I picked up Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes because it was cheap.
Okay, how cheap was it?
$20.
It was like 40 when it dropped, right?
It dropped for 30, if I recall.
All right, I think it was going to drop for 40, and there was
maybe
an outcry.
I mean, and I can understand it was extremely short. The campaign, like quote unquote campaign, is one mission. And, between myself and 2 others, we were dicking around, exploring the game, exploring the map.
There's lots of Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we were finding a lot of stuff.
There's skill challenges.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It took us like 4 hours to get through.
I think it took you longer than you were supposed to.
Here's the thing. Now that I know what I was supposed to do and exactly what to do to complete the mission, you can beat that game in under an hour.
Yeah.
Easy. But the thing is, it comes with enough missions on the side. Like, it comes with, you're using the same map, different times of day, different weather conditions, and you are given different objectives on the same map with, like, different enemy layouts.
I have no connection to the Metal Gear series whatsoever, but I feel like Metal Gear fans would have been better served if they charged them $9.99 for that content, stripped out a lot of the extra stuff, and it included like a $20 really nice hardcover Metal Gear compendium.
Maybe, but the thing is though, like, think about the last Metal Gear Solid, the last Metal Gear game to come out, I think, was Peace Walker for PSP,
which no one liked.
Which, I mean, it's good though. But the thing is, the game was laid out in very much in a portable game fashion, where there are missions. Just discrete missions you can pick in the game, and they take you like 20 minutes to do.
Well,
and this follows kind of in the same vein, and there's quite a bit of side content to explore.
I'm excited. I have the HD collection for Metal Gear, and I'm excited to delve into
it.
But what I've been doing this week, I've been doing a little bit of rumor hunting, and this is something that Kyle alerted me to first. Quentin Tarantino has confirmed that he is going to make Hateful Eight,
which I
despite the screenplay leak. He has also hinted that he's got perhaps a sci-fi movie in his head that he wants to get out, which would be very interesting to see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd
be cool.
But aside from that, I've been playing Diablo 3. I've been back on that horse. I'm playing my Wii U.
I do want to hop back on Diablo 3. I'm thing is, it's like, if you're ever hopping on Diablo 3, like, let me know, because I'll probably just be like, yeah, I'll run a rift.
The problem is like, whenever I am hopping on, it's usually for like 20 minutes at a time, and I don't want to bother anybody. But yeah, I mean, if I ever do have an evening that I want to set aside, I'll definitely give you a heads up.
Sweet.
I have been reading. I got one of the latest Humble bundles. I got a bunch of the early Transformers.
That's
comics
right. You were telling me about this. Don't tell people how little you spend on the Humble bundle.
I'm a big G1 Transformers fan.
You're a
That being said, these comics are bad.
Are they Star Wars novel bad?
They are designed. There is easily 6 pages dedicated to everyone standing in a room saying, "I'm blank, and my special power is blank, and I'll be able to kill Decepticons because blank."
Every issue or just the pilot?
I did not get past first issue.
That's because you're a bitch.
Yeah, well, I was taken aback. I got 4 volumes, and I was taken aback when I saw that the first volume was 270 pages. So I've got quite a bit of reading to do there, and I will go into it because I do love Transformers. I love the real Transformers. I love the G1 Transformers is what I love, and Beast Wars, of course.
God, you know what else I
dropped? You're like a Star Wars fan who likes Empire, and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I am, actually. But, Ryan, what have you been doing this week?
Well, I donated $60 to the Humble Bundle.
No. Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Like I always do.
I'm just going to stop the clock so you don't have that annoying buzzer.
Thank you. I'm just briefly touching on this, because we already did comics off the internet. So I picked up a couple of the free, I think it were Skyhorse comics. That was what Invincible was in. I also got Ghosted, which was pretty weak, to be honest with you. It was essentially a ghost haunted house themed heist, like Ocean's 11, but they're robbing a haunted house.
Yeah, okay.
Witch Doctor was the other one I got. That one was pretty good, but it was very clearly a first-time writer tackling it. And that's essentially what if Dr. House treated supernatural ailments.
Okay.
That had some interesting ideas, but I don't think I'd buy another one. I've been playing Hearthstone. Second week of the expansion dropped. There are already some fantastic decks that are kicking my ass, but no one has requested that I speak about this, so I shall go into it no further. What I did watch, though, and I very rarely watch TV. You both know my fucking hang-ups on TV.
I have another for watch after you're done.
Is I don't have Netflix anymore. I canceled it just because I wasn't using it, but I do still have Amazon Prime Video. So I watched the pilot episode of a Halle Berry show, which I hadn't heard nothing about this, called Extant. Now, E-X-T-A-N-T. For those who are not aware, and I'm going to group the writers in that block, Extant means something that still exists. And for whatever reason, like the title card goes from extinct to extant. Like the letters.
Yeah.
The number of times in this fucking program where I said, "Oh, I guess it's this show now," where it was like every fucking 5 minutes. Because the line for the pilot is Halle Berry is an astronaut who was on a 13-month space station mission, and now she has to reintegrate into society. I'm like, all right,
it's an interesting concept. Okay.
That sounds like a Lifetime bit. I don't know why Halle Berry's attached to it, but fine. So it opens with a birthday party. She's
done things that aren't terrible.
No, it opens with her welcome back party, and she's throwing up in the bathroom, and her son says, "Mommy, are you going to be able to come out to the party?" I'm like, okay, I already see where the distance is. So we get outside, and within 2 minutes, the kid is beating the shit out of another kid. I'm like, oh, troubled kid. This is a Lifetime show. We keep going. The dad puts the kid to bed. The kid says, "Dad, I think I need a flip." Really? The dad's very, Spanishy. And
Ricky Ricardo?
So the dad flips the kid over and presses his back, and out pops a power pack.
Oh, this son is a robot.
Robot kid.
Okay.
So it turns out Halle Berry and Spanish guy have tried for years. They can't get pregnant. He is part of the Humanics program, which seeks to put together lifelike AI children.
I don't know if this is racist or not.
A little bit. So he doesn't put on a very good performance, but his accent puts on a phenomenal show where he explains.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Well, he puts on a program in front of investors, here is my robot kid, fund this, and they're like, well, what happens
Kickstarter for my child.
and it's basically like, all right, well, are we talking 3 rules laws? These are things the investors are asking, what happened? Do you have a contingency plan to shut down the child?
Grows up and kills us all.
And his response is, well, do you have a child? She says, yes, I have a daughter. Do you have a contingency plan if she turns evil? Do you have a plan in place to kill your daughter? I say, no, my daughter has a soul. Frankly, there's no such thing. And that argument goes on for a bit. Meanwhile, Spanish guy and Halle Berry tried for years, couldn't get a kid. Cut to Halle Berry in her friend's medical office. They're doing her post-mission prep. Halle, I don't know what to tell you. I've run the tests 4 times.
You're alien pregnant.
You are space pregnant!
Oh my God.
She's space pregnant! And so was there an international mission that, did Russia land a spacecraft and we just didn't know? So, she's like, no, nothing could have happened. So, it turns out that in a solar flare that knocked out all of the instruments, her ex-husband's ghost appears on the space station.
What?
So, she gets space ghost pregnant. And
why wasn't this just the whole episode of the podcast? Why did we not spend the whole time talking about this?
So you weren't into it when I said I wanted to talk about Extant.
I had no idea. You gave me no heads up to this.
I need to watch this.
So So we're dealing with her hiding the fact that she's Space Ghost pregnant because she deleted all of the records of that 8-hour period.
Because of course she did.
Well, no, because she didn't want anyone to find out. Cause she
wait, she knew she was space pregnant.
No, she didn't know she was space pregnant. She knew that she had space fucked.
She had space ghost sex with her ghost ex-husband.
She space fucked her ghost ex-husband in space, and then she watched all of the cameras, and all of them had her making her motions, but her husband wasn't there
because he was a ghost.
So she deleted all the footage because she didn't want to think she's crazy. So everyone back on Earth, the it's a private space foundation.
Okay.
Space Foundation ghost pregnancy.
It's not even a private. It is. They are makers and producers of science. Their building is a science building.
Science.
It is a big gray block with the symbol being a square with a pyramid with a circle ring. It's very sciencey. So they know now that there's 8 hours of missing footage. She's acting suspicious. We need to go to the higher-ups. So they unfreeze Dr. Yasumoto from hypersleep.
Is it Ken Watanabe?
It is
if it's
not.
Then I don't care.
It is unfortunately not Ken Watanabe. They unfreeze from hypersleep their Japanese CEO, who immediately sets up his rock garden-themed office.
And this is all happening in the first episode.
48 minutes! So he's like, well, we need to find out a way to get close to the family. I know. I'm a private Japanese hypersleep citizen. So my money is
okay.
My money is hundreds of years old. It's been aging and shit. So I'm going to put a private investment in the Humanics program so the husband can make more robot kids. Meanwhile, Halle Berry goes to get ice cream with Robot Kid, and Robot Kid is clearly going crazy. His ice cream falls on the ground, and she offers him hers.
He really wants to end her space pregnancy.
He demands that she buys him another ice cream. She says no. He runs away. She chases after him, and when she finds him, there's blood on his hands, and he snapped the neck of a bird.
Oh, good.
And the episode ends with Halle Berry is taking out the trash, and out pops this guy. It was the last guy who did the 13th month mission, but he killed himself, but he didn't. And so he's like, dude, trust no one. What? Shh, not even me. And he sinks into the foliage, and shh.
What is this show?
What? All right, well that was Extant.
So hey,
so are you gonna keep watching?
There's 2 more episodes. I think there'll be a third by the time this podcast airs. I'm gonna keep watching.
This just started?
Yeah, and I've heard nothing. It's a Halle Berry show. How have I heard nothing about it?
She's a big star still.
Kinda.
Maybe she's not in her prime anymore. But
she's
still a noteworthy star.
I will say this: I don't know what it actually airs on.
I was about to ask, what does it air on, or is it some weird Amazon Prime Video exclusive?
Very well could be. Because you know who else is a big star? Kevin Spacey, but he's doing digital exclusive content.
God,
yeah, but that's Netflix. That's way higher tier.
But, so, speaking of Netflix, and in a much more boring fashion, Netflix has been producing the 4th and final season of The Killing, which was originally an AMC show. The AMC did 3 seasons, and it never really gained the following that any of the big AMC shows did.
It was overshadowed by the what is it? The Following? What is that?
No,
the cult one.
The Following, the one with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
The Following.
Really? Okay.
That is the one you're thinking of. I don't know if it was overshadowed by that so much, but I do know that's the show you're thinking of. The Killing. I love it. It's a cop drama, and again, I haven't watched True Detective yet, and I have a feeling that when I finally do,
that might have been the one
it's gonna.
I really need to watch that.
I have heard that it is super good, and I don't want to even.
I might start watching that tonight. Actually,
I don't even want to remotely hint at spoilers for True Detective because I've heard a few. But The Killing, one of my favorite cop teams, Lyndon and Holder. Sarah Lyndon is the only female employee in this particular branch of the Seattle Police Department, and her partner Stephen Holder, who is a recovering narcotics addict. It's always been a fantastic show in my opinion, and the 4th season is really, it's staying on that same level, and it's Netflix demonstrating that kind of commitment to good TV.
I mean, they What originals have they done? They did
House of Cards,
the 4th season of Arrested Development.
4th season of Arrested Development, Orange is the New Black, which I haven't watched yet, but
and they have some anime, I think.
Knights of Sidonia is the one that I'm familiar with. I've not watched it, but it's another one that's.
Anyone know anything about it?
If I don't, you guys don't.
The one standout terrible Netflix show is Hemlock Grove, which is just laughable. And I'm sure.
Hey, they can't all be winners.
I got a wrap-up moment. I've got a wrap-up.
Let him go first.
You can have the.
Let this weirdo go first.
My wrap-up moment is this. Today is August 3rd, as of the recording of this episode of the Health Breakfast Show. On July 31st, I was in a grocery store in New Hampshire, and I was buying some beer for the evening. And I've noticed that pumpkin beer is back on the market on July 31st.
Oh, fuck.
And I was saying, as a kid, I used to get pissed off when they would show back-to-school ads in June and in July. And now as an adult, I get pissed when I see that pumpkin beer is back in stores on July 31st. Now, don't get me wrong, I love autumn. It's my favorite season. But goddamn, it's July, or right now it's August. Doesn't change the fact that it's 85, 90 degrees outside. Humid as all goddamn shit. I don't want to drink a pumpkin. Do you want to drink a pumpkin?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my... I don't want to end on that, but that's my kind of take-home for the week.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was just a tell us why you mad.
That was a little tell us why you mad.
I mean, in terms of my crowning moment from last week, I would have... My laptop died after last week's podcast.
That's right. Ryan's got a new laptop.
I got a new laptop. It's got a couple of kinks I'm still working out. There's a couple of weird things. It's very strange because the last time I had to replace my laptop, it was a gap of a week. It died. I waited a week. I ended up with a new one. This was like less than 36 hours. Mm-hmm. So it's very strange to me. It's just a minor interruption of service. It's the kind of thing where I'll go to my bookmarks and be surprised and disappointed when my bookmarks aren't there. It's like if your wife died.
Now, what browser are you using?
Oh, Firefox.
I use Chrome.
I mean, I also use Firefox, but like, if you do use Chrome, it actually does sync all your bookmarks to the cloud.
From so, like, computer.
Well, because you would be logged into your Google account.
Oh.
And so it syncs your bookmarks to it, so you'd log into Chrome with your new account, and it would sync all your bookmarks up.
Oh, that's fair.
Which is a nice thing to have. But no, I use Firefox on my desktop. I use Chrome on my laptop.
In terms of the coming week, which I don't think you had, despite telling us we were supposed to talk about it.
I've got some there are going to be some, I feel to be exciting developments in the Health Breakfast comic this week. I'm excited about those.
Strangely enough, I was going to talk about something similar. The current Attitude story is still, I will say, going strong, and it's going to continue updating, and the ebook should be available within the next week or two.
It's going to be very soon.
This coming week, I will begin drafting scripts for what amounts to a midway project that will come out between this current story and whatever the next one happens to be. More details on that later.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility that I'll be drawing it.
Yeah, but that'll be on commission.
Right. Kyle, any final thoughts?
Not really, no.
Well, anything coming for your PS4?
Anything coming out? I mean, I'm looking forward to Destiny when it comes out.
It's not even a question what comes out. I mean, it has been out for a bit. Are you picking anything up?
No, I think I've picked up everything I'm going to have until Destiny comes out.
The final thought that I'll leave you all with this week, we talked about Broodhollow a lot in the beginning of the program this week.
Just Google Broodhollow.
Yeah, really, Google Broodhollow. It is excellent comic. It is really gearing up towards some major developments very soon, so I highly recommend you go back to the beginning of the archive, read from the beginning. It will not take you long. If you've got an hour or two to set aside...
Start to finish, I did it in an hour and 45 minutes, and I was reading it aloud because I like to do the Austrian accent.
So if you've got a little time...
Oh, a fucking doctor?
Yeah.
How could I not love Herr Doktor?
I do love Herr Doktor.
If you've got a little time to set aside, either at work... when you're supposed to be doing something a little more important, perhaps, or after work, or whatever you've got going on for you, take the time, read Broodhollow, catch up. There's some big developments coming soon, and you're really going to want to be a part of that. So, we're going to sign off for now for the second episode of the Health Breakfast Show. Have a good week. Everybody say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
I was better this week.
You were better this week. I'm still going to edit out everything you say.
Good.